Today I'm going to show you guys how to maximize the efficiency of a leaf loader on your truck. Hey guys, Jimmy Ziggy from Ziggy's Lawn and Landscape. Today I'm making a quick video on showing you our method of using a leaf loader to make the work as easy as possible and as quickly as it can possibly be done. So I want you to take a quick peek at this footage I have right here for you, and I want to see if you notice some things. All right, so now that you've seen that, there's a few things I want you to notice in that video. Number one is that we use the rake a lot when we use the leaf loader, when we're doing big suck up jobs where all the piles are next to the curb and we need to vacuum them up very quickly. And what I'm about to kind of tell you, our method is going to vary depending on, of course, what model you have, how many horsepower your machine is, but we tend to use the rakes between both of our machines. We have an 18 horsepower Little Wonder on the side of the trucks, and then we have a 31 horsepower Freighton behind the truck, which is the big one that you see there. So with that said, what we find is easiest is taking the tube and using the handle on the hose only when you need it. So we only do that in the very beginning if the pile is very bulky, and then after that we pretty much don't touch the handle at all. You'll see a lot of people that will take the truck, they'll get in and out of the truck 100 times and they'll move it every 2 feet. We find that using the rake is the fastest way to suck up leaves, and you get the most amount of leaves without clogging the machine up. And what do I mean by that is when you use the tube for the entire job, there's one of two things that's going to happen. You're either going to get an eighth to a quarter, maybe a half of that diameter of the tube actually filled with leaves if the pile is, let's say, small. If the pile is a big pile, as you're swinging that thing back and forth, the tube is going to get clogged with clumpy leaves. It can't pull all the leaves in when you're pushing the tube towards the leaves. So why we use the rakes is because you almost fluff up the leaves a little bit, and you're pushing the leaves to the tube, and you're giving the tube the most amount of leaves it can take without clogging. It's not going to clog if you're pushing it in there with the rake, but if you're doing it with just the tube and you're going into, let's just say, a bulky pile of leaves that you have made, or if you use a leaf pusher, it's even worse, or chipped up leaves, which sometimes we cut with the mowers and dump them right next to the truck. It makes it even worse because it's harder to get all that debris through the tube at once, and you're swinging the tube back and forth, and it gets just bound up. It'll pull in this big clump, and then you're kicking it with your boots all the time, and there's a couple of little things about the rake that just make it so much nicer and easier for the tube. You can constantly feed that vacuum, and it will keep pulling the leaves in full volume. As much as that tube is round as how much leaves can go in there. I just want to go back real quick just to the fluffing up the leaves analogy that I was talking about. The smaller the leaf loader you have to have the leaves be more fluffy. That's just the way that it's going to be maximize the efficiency of that machine, because our big leaf loader, the leaves can be compressed, and that Freighton leaf loader will vacuum up every single thing you could throw in that thing. It won't get clogged, rarely ever. But the little ones, like the Little Wonder that we have, occasionally gets clogged. But we want the leaves to be fluffy. And this crosses over almost to why a walker mower is so efficient at picking up leaves, because you got the deck out front and the blades are pulling the leaves up before they're getting sucked into that blower fan underneath. It's the same thing with the rake. You're pulling the leaves up so that they're airborne with the rake. And in the air, there's no friction with the grass underneath it. It's just the only thing is air resistance and a couple other leaves. But that gives it that upward force, and then the tube can pull the leaves right through. So it works almost like a walker mower if you think about it with the rake. All right, well, that's enough explanation just about why we use the rake. If you've seen it in our videos, I mean, we go through piles 1, 2, 3 super quick. And I see a couple people just around town who they'll get in the truck and they'll move the truck 100 times, which I don't know. I just think that's a waste of time. Number one, you run into a lot more clogs just using the hose only and no rake. But like I said, we use a combination of the two. Use the hose when you need to, and when you don't need to, pull them with the rake. And if your arms get tired and whatnot, it's just a better way to do it and more efficient, and it's less work on your body too. Not to mention, I find, and Steve find, that I would rather rake leaves all day than swing that bulky hose, especially on our bigger Freighton one. My arms get tired so quickly when I'm using that tube. I think it's easier just the downward motion of pulling the rake back towards you rather than swinging this hose like almost like you're digging a hole with a shovel. I like it. I like raking better than shoveling, to put it that way, if that's close enough of an analogy for you guys. One other thing that I want to mention too is that when we use our leaf loader, we don't get every last piece on the ground. We'll leave maybe just like a tiny bit of debris, so that we'll go over it with the walker mower afterwards, and we'll pick up whatever's left or blow it onto the grass and just suck up like one stripe of whatever's left on the street. It's an additional tip right there, is don't feel the need to get every last like speck of leaf off the wherever you're working. Just get the bulk of it, and then whatever's left, just pick up with your mower and then just move on and blow it off, and then you're done. Also, I want to mention just something about pushing leaves real quick to your leaf loader. Is if you push them with a leaf pusher, we use the walker mowers like you've seen in our video, they get real compact and real tight. And a quick tip to make it easier to vacuum up those leaves is, as soon as you get to where your destination is with wherever you're pushing them, turn back up a little bit and turn your machine to the side. It'll almost fling the leaves a little bit, and it'll make it fluffy again. It won't be as compact, because if you just push it and then back straight up, it's like you just built a brick wall out of leaves. Instead of having, if you turn it, like I said, it'll disperse the leaves a little bit better, and you won't have just such like a solid wall in front of you anymore. And it makes it easier to go through the tube of the leaf loader. But so anyway, I just wanted to share this little helpful tip. I know all around, at least this area, the leaves were kind of coming to an end, but everybody else seems to just getting started. More down south and stuff, it seems like the leaves changed a lot earlier this year up here. But wanted to keep giving you guys helpful tips that you guys can be as efficient as you can possibly be, and yeah, just help you guys out who are working hard. So I'll see you guys in our next video. And like I said, we're coming to the end here of leaf season, but we still have maybe a few more videos of just leaves that we want to get out, and blowers and whatnot. So we'll see you guys in the next one.